The German government is looking to reach an agreement with the Taliban to take back convicted Afghan migrants.
Russia launches one of its largest aerial attacks on Ukraine since its full-scale invasion, with Kyiv being its main target.
A power outage hit Prague and other areas of the Czech Republic, bringing public transport and trains to a standstill.
Germany wants to negotiate a direct agreement with the Taliban to take back Afghan nationals set for deportation. Berlin suspended deportations after the group returned to power in 2021, but resumed flights in August last year with the support of regional partners. My idea is that we make agreements directly with Afghanistan to enable repatriations, German Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt said in an interview on Thursday, adding that a similar deal is being discussed with Syria. Germany does not currently recognize the Taliban government and maintains no official diplomatic ties with Kabul. On Friday, the United Nations criticized plans to strike a deal with the group, saying it was, quote, not appropriate to return people to Afghanistan due to documented human rights violations. Migration was a key issue as Germans headed to the polls to vote in last February's snap federal elections.
Russia became the first country in the world to formally recognize the Taliban government in Afghanistan since the group seized power in 2021. The decision follows shortly after Moscow's top court removed the group's terrorist designation in April. Relations between the two countries have been historically complex. However, Russia in recent years sought to deepen its ties with Afghanistan.
A barrage of 550 drones and 11 missiles targeted Ukraine overnight into Friday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said it was one of the largest scale aerial attacks since Russia's invasion began in 2022. The attack, mainly targeting Kyiv, injured at least 23 people and left damage across multiple districts of the capital, according to local authorities. Multiple residential buildings, a school, a medical center and a large amount of civilian infrastructure were damaged in the attacks, according to Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko. Russia hit 8 locations with 9 missiles and 63 drones, igniting fires in at least 5 of Kyiv's 10 districts, as falling debris also caused damage in 33 parts of the city. Ukraine's air defense said it shot down 270 of the UAVs, including 2 cruise missiles. The attack came hours after a phone call between US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, and just days after the US said it would pause some arms shipments to Ukraine.
As a deadly heatwave sweeps Europe, extreme weather sparked wildfires in Turkey, which took the life of an 81-year-old man. Hundreds of firefighters, supported by aircraft and helicopters, were deployed on Thursday to extinguish a wildfire blazing in the Turkish coastal town of Kesme. Turkey has, in the past week, battled hundreds of fires across the country that were fueled by fierce winds, scorching heat, and low humidity. The fires, most of which have now been extinguished, led to the evacuation of tens of thousands of people. According to experts, Italy and the rest of southern Europe will face the worst of the heatwave on Friday. Italy's health ministry has said 17 of the country's 27 major cities were experiencing a heatwave. Earlier in the week, at least 2 people died there. Authorities say expanding urban greenery is key to lowering temperatures. Shaded areas can be up to 5 degrees cooler. In the Swiss canton of Aargau, the extreme heat caused a nuclear power plant to be partially disconnected from the electricity grid. The plant's operator said the reason for the shutdown was the high water temperature of a nearby river. Discharging the plant's heated water into the already overheated river would endanger Swiss wildlife.
A major power outage hit Prague and other areas of the Czech Republic on Friday, bringing public transport and trains to a standstill. Czech hospitals were immediately switched to an emergency power supply, and local media reported that the capital's international airport was not affected.
Čekám, než se to obnoví celý ten provoz, kdy skončí ten blackout, vůbec nevím.
Cestujem smerom na Mělník a vlastně čekám, má to zpoždění 46 minut, 45 minut, takže stále čekám.
A nějaké informace k tomu máte, nebo kde sledujete?
Úplně ne, sledujem len tabulu, takže čekám.
Prime Minister Petr Fiala said authorities were investigating the cause and were working to resolve the issue. It was not immediately clear what caused the outage. However, officials ruled out a cyber attack.
At least 21 people have been injured in an explosion at a petrol station in Rome on Friday, according to reports. None of the injured, which include 8 police officers, a firefighter and an emergency operator, are in serious condition. But a few suffered from minor burns and shattered glass from the explosion. The fire brigade said the accident was caused by a technical fault during refueling. Rome's mayor Roberto Guartieri said 2 chain explosions followed after firefighters arrived, with the shock wave causing damage to surrounding buildings and vehicles catching fire. Residents said the explosion was so strong it felt like an earthquake, and the blast was heard in other parts of the city.
The UK's Deputy Prime Minister was in Liverpool for a conference when she heard about Diogo Jota's death. Accompanied by the city's mayor, she made a point of being present outside the club's stadium. She joined the tribute to one of Anfield's best-loved players.
He's done an incredible job here at Liverpool Football Club, one of their greatest strikers, and just getting married, having his young children, looking forward to all the great things that he was going to do here and in his life, and it's just so heartbreaking.
The head of the British government was in London, but also reacted to the tragedy.
This is devastating news. And I'm sure I speak for everyone in saying our first thoughts are going to be with his family and his friends in particular. But there are millions of Liverpool fans, but also football fans and non-fans who will also be shocked by this.
In Portugal, the President of the Republic mourned a premature death. He highlighted a player who he had said represented Portuguese soccer at the highest level. The Prime Minister also highlighted Jota's legacy as an athlete who greatly honoured the country's name. Cristiano Ronaldo spoke of a tragedy that makes no sense. He recalled that he'd recently been with Jota in the national team and that his colleague had just got married. The former Portugal international left his mark on the national team and in England. For Liverpool, he won the championship last season.
You don't know these people personally, but when you do lose somebody in this fashion, it's devastating. It's going to affect everybody. It's like losing somebody that's really, really close to you.
A little yellow post-it note will do. RIP.
In Liverpool, the club's flag by the stadium and that of the town hall were flown at half-mast as a sign of mourning.
China's first domestically built aircraft carrier docked in Hong Kong, where it will be open to public visits over the weekend. Local media reported that residents had already bought all 10,000 tickets for the public tours. It comes as part of Beijing's campaign to foster national pride in Hong Kong, especially after widespread anti-government protests took place in 2019. The campaign also comes just days before the territory marked the 28th anniversary of its handover from British to Chinese sovereignty. Hong Kong retains some semi-autonomous status, but its military and foreign affairs remain under control of Beijing. In April, the carrier was dispatched for exercises in the eastern maritime and airspace surrounding Taiwan. A month later, it carried out joint drills in the Pacific in a show of increasing naval ambition.
Michael Madsen, whose menacing characters in Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill made him a standout in Quentin Tarantino's films, has died at the age of 66. He was found unresponsive in his home in Malibu, California on Thursday morning and pronounced dead. Madsen is believed to have died of natural causes, and authorities do not suspect any foul play was involved. His manager Ron Smith said cardiac arrest was the apparent cause. The US Congress has passed President Donald Trump's huge tax breaks and spending cuts bill, bringing an end to days of debate and overnight voting in the Capitol. House Republicans propelled the $4.5 trillion Big Beautiful Bill to final congressional passage on Thursday, overcoming multiple setbacks to approve Trump's signature second-term policy package before a 4th of July deadline. GOP leaders worked overnight, and the president himself leaned on a handful of skeptics to drop their opposition and send the bill to him to sign into law.
The motion is adopted.
Democrats had been unified in opposition of the bill, with protests taking place across the country. According to them, the nation's social safety net would face massive changes under the bill. This includes access to health insurance, food assistance and health services. Supporters say the measures would save taxpayers money and block fraud.